the good question for reflect is, what stuff do you remember unconsciously, right? What, for example, when I'm going to my friend's house, for example, now, yesterday I was with one of my friends. If you ask me, what have you seen there that you cannot remember in your mind? As I might say, oh, they had a glass, it was very nice. Someone would say, oh, they had a microphone. Or someone said, oh, his phone was iPhone or iPad or, I don't know, Samsung or something. Or they had a nice flower. Whatever you can remember from a place, it shows the level of the mind and its whatever mind likes, right? That's very interesting to remember, to see your mind, what objects are interested for your habitual mind, right? For example, if usually a woman goes someone else home, when they come back, they said, okay, his dress was like that, right? Her dress, his hair, oh, not his hair, her hair. Her hair was like that. Oh, what?
Sometimes his hair.
Sometimes his hair, yeah. You can remember always my hair. For example, when if I care for my hair too much, why I don't have hair? Then I see Arya with nice hair like that. Too much hair. Then I said, oh, okay, yeah, he had a very nice hair, right? Then, as a reflex, the next day I'm saying, oh, why I remember Arya's hair? Then I said, oh, okay, my mind is engaging with the stuff related to the hair. Then something, a weakness in me. There is a weakness in me, right? The weakness is I don't have enough hair, and I'm feel pity for myself, or I'm not happy about that, or sad. But there is energy there. I don't like it, right? Then when I see something outside, then I would care for that part, right? It's not always weakness, but sometimes weakness, sometimes interest. But to know ourselves, we have to find out detail of the mind. Every detail of the mind, what his mind is doing. What is this mind? Currently, whatever I have as a mind, what it is exactly, how it works, why sometimes get angry. For example, even when we look at the anger, and no one likes to be angry, but everyone gets angry, we say that the same stuff makes Chris angry, that stuff might not make Akil angry. And then the different stuff might get Arya's angry, right? And then Zuhal doesn't care for that. Then when we see the act or action, and then the reflect in our mind, then we realize, okay, there is a problem here. Why is that? Why I'm getting angry over this? Why I enjoy something? What is the problem? If we start to study ourselves, our mind, that would be the most beneficial book to read. Right? We can read books. Books usually are made from someone's mind, right? With an intention, mostly. But the complete book in ourselves, isn't it? We are thinking, so okay, that's my book. My book is just always reading. Okay, who is the writer? What it is writing, or what has been written there? But for that, we need an internal eye. The eye could see, not outside, inside. Exactly inside. So, okay, I'm seeing, for example, Akil is doing something, and I don't like it. I said, why Akil doing that, like that, right? I just don't like an act of Akil. Then here my attention, if it's on what he's doing, is right or is not right, is bad or is good, right? Then I'm trapped on whatever he's doing. And then next day, if I'm just doing lots of complaint in my mind, then next day Chris does something else I might enjoy or I might resent, right? Every time, but now, when I see Akhil doing something and say, okay, I don't like this. Why is doing that? And then right away I say, okay, let's wait. Why I don't like that? Let's analyze the things in me, like something and don't like something. Why is that? Right? Now, I wanted to continue last session, which was the 4 elements, but it was too complicated or too philosophical. I just decided to change the subject to something more practical. Now, based on this conscious and studying the mind, and now the internal eye, let's call it internal eye, which is consciousness actually, I want to go through a discussion instead of the teaching, right? I'll choose a subject, and then let's think, and you guys tell me an example. I'll start with something. Every one of us, we have a set of unknown, unwritten rules, which they are very, very important for us. And we like everyone to follow them, right? And if they don't follow, we get angry, right? Now, for example, I would like anyone come to my house, when they take off their shoes, they put it into the cabinet there. That's one of my rules. That's just an example. You don't need to do it. How are you going to change to put the shoes there now? This is, for example, my rule. Everyone has 100 of these rules, right? And I'm saying, okay, when you want to put the water here, just put it here, not there. I said, why? He says, here is the rule. I just like to be here, right? If you go to kitchen, right, you guys, or your mother or your wife has some rules, doesn't? There is some rules there. Okay. I want to talk about these rules. I don't want to tell more. Tell me a few rules you have in your life. And then we look at the rules to see, is it good? Should you have it? How should we see it outside, externally or internally? And how we should keep the rules or we should not keep the rules. Start with Zoal. Tell me one of your rules. Just make it a bit easy. You guys have more time to think. I'm sure Zoal has lots of rules. I should ask actually Yossi that what is Zoal's rule?
Not my rules. Do I say what mom has in the house? What are one of the rules I have in the house?
She needs to think. You start then.
I have to keep my room clean.
Yeah, okay. That's one of the Zoal's rule is a young girl have cleaned her room every time, right? Every day. Once a week, okay. Okay.
So
You don't have any other rules yourself? Just mention one.
right. I did have many more rules prior prior coming here 3.5, 4 years back, I remember I had a conversation with Reza, and he did tell me that I did have a lot of rules, which is quite significant. One of the things that I am still working on is the rule of my husband putting his clothes everywhere. Like, he literally comes from work and he takes his clothes off. He puts it like, Yasmin probably knows this as well, puts it on the chair, random spots. And he's got, I've made him a nice area under in the cabinet where I've got his shirts and his pants, clean ones, yeah? And then he comes in and literally he just puts it everywhere. And then laundry, he just puts it on the top of the washing machine when it's dirty, not inside the washing machine. So that kind of it has bugged me for years, but that is something that I'm working on as a rule, that if I see it, I go change it. But anger, irritation when it comes up and then relates to anger, then I start telling him, Jay, or Jawad, I call him Jay, his short name. And then I say, washing machine is there, your closet is there, put them in there, separate. And he's like, oh, sorry, I remember it next time. He never does it. So that would be...
Okay, go on, Asa.
So I also used to have this heavy bug before I started the classes. Like, I had a particular spot for dishes in the dishwasher. Like, I like glasses to be on one side, like very organized. And I would get really, really annoyed if anyone, because we have housemates in the house, put a knife, so that, sharp part is pointing upwards. So I wanted everything to be in a direction that I learned how to put it.
Okay.
I thought you were going to go with the glass. Because I did the same thing. Anyway. Yeah, I think there's a lot of them, obviously. The one, I suppose, came to my mind first was when we have wooden objects to cook with, the wooden spoon. I always ask Asa to wash it immediately, not to leave it in the water. Because if you leave it in the water soaking, eventually you will not be able to use it. That's one of my rules.
Yeah, I've got a million rules probably. And what you said, I could relate to that about the, clothes or shoes being around the house and I have to put it away because someone doesn't do that. And then the same with the dishwasher. Someone else in my house doesn't put things efficiently in the dishwasher. But the first thing that you said that came to mind when you asked this question was when I was driving here. It was just people irritating me as I was driving on the road. And I have my own rules about how everyone else should be driving. And probably the most, I have many annoying things that annoy me, but one of them was people who drive slowly in the right-hand lane. It just bugs me because there's a lot of reasons why it bugs me, but that's probably driving and people going slow in the right-hand lane. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
One of my rules is when I eat eggs, because I eat lots of eggs every day, I eat 8 eggs, and that perfectly 8 eggs fits into 2 boxes of eggs. And then sometimes my parents come and they take 1 egg out. So then those 3 boxes, it doesn't perfectly fit into 8 eggs. And every day I have to eat 8 eggs. So then I tell my parents to have their own egg carton where they can take their single eggs out whenever they want, and they don't do it. So I've just been working on not getting angry at that.
Okay, that was good. Okay. Now, I think one of the most important part of the spirituality is to go to the detail of acts or talk or the energy of the mind. To be honest, sometimes I was thinking when I was too young, like Arya's age, I was thinking that, okay, spirituality is not for me, it's just for people looking for God. They might lost God and they're looking for God. I haven't lost it, I haven't had it even. Why should look for God? Or I was thinking that it's for when a person gets like 60, 70 years old, then they are free. They have to go and see in the mosque or somewhere or church. They sit and pray. That's for old people. And then when I started like in mid-life or mid-age, like 30-ish years old, I realized that, oh, how much problem I have. Or at the time I was saying that how much problem all people have. And everyone had problem. I don't see a normal person. And then it occurred to me that might be, do I have problem too? I said, no. Don't think about that. Think about them. Then I said, okay, started fixing detail in my life. Something, then I said, okay, I'm not an angry person, I'm always calm and good, I'm happy. I start with anger. That's a very, very simple thing. I was thinking like that.
Just remember the guy in the car park, the doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, the guy in the bar park, yeah. And then I said, this is very something easy. Then I start look at my anger. The first thing happened, like for example at work, I'll get angry to my manager, well, I couldn't say anything. But then I said, okay, I'm angry now. And then I said, yeah, but he's done something wrong. He's not doing his job properly, or it was very hard conversation in my head that he's not doing his job right. Well, then I said, okay, even if he's not doing his job right, why you are getting angry? It was very hard. Then after 3-4 months, I realized that I'm angry all the time. Just I don't show my face, or they are detailed. But then when I observe my mind, I realize every like 10,000 thinking or thought I have, like 8,000 are angry. But everyone are a small one. And they just all the energy collect together, and then every week or so I get angry or yell or kind of I get irritated, and all the problems started. Then I said, okay, I have to fix 8,000 thoughts every day. And then I said, okay, no, anger is too big. I'm not going to fix anger. Not in one lifetime, at least, because it's very, very big. I'm just started to do objecting. I said, why I'm objecting things, right? Then after 3 months, I realized I'm objecting to everything. Even like I can say, why this guy is driving like that? Why this guy is going to left? You should go to right. Why are you sitting like that? Why are you walking like that? Then I said, okay, no, this is big. I cannot even do that. Then I said, okay, let's start finding where all this started. Why in my mind there is everything is like a zoo, not even it's like a wild zoo, it's like a jungle, forest with everything inside. Why there is no like chicken, normal thoughts, not angry, not fighting with anyone. Then I started to observing and writing down and analyzing. It was very, very hard few years. Now I'm just, based on my studying on my own mind, then I created some practices, rules, why it's happening. Now this classes kind of I give some of that problem to study, right? This one is now the rules. It's not just general anger, because general anger is too big, and We are not talking about the anger itself. We are talking about what can make us angry. But not anger like yelling and swearing, just one thought, right? Every thought has a 5-atom or 2-atom energy. If I can fix one thought every day, then in 10,000 years, 10,000 days, my mind is calm and happy, right? Then sometimes in this class we are talking about the philosophy of the mind, sometimes just simple practices. Now this week we're talking about rules. Now tell me why we have the rules. Anyone tell me why should we, like, for example, if your wife putting things into the dishwasher not in the right order, what would happen?
Oh, look, no one's going to die from it. That's the truth.
But you get angry, you might die.
I get enough stress, I'll have a stroke. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just thinking one word: double handling. Double handling. That's the key. So that is energy that you have to exert for something that shouldn't have to happen.
Yeah, exactly. The rules which I want you to list in the next 2 weeks, the rules you have in the house. Start with the house, it's easy, all right? Now, the problem is we don't know why we're living. What's the purpose of our living? For example, I want to be the dishwasher optimized, right? The house clean, as Tual said. Yassi's room should be clean. But who is thinking that we should be happy? All right? However, that no boy or girl room would be clean. Never. We're still trying to fix that. But we don't learn how to be happy or how to make someone happy. We're not thinking of the happiness, right? If sometimes we can put pressure on people around us to do something, to put eggs in the right direction, right place, and then I'll get angry, I'll put pressure on the person to get angry, or at least it's uncomfortable situation to remind them, do this, do this, do this, don't do that, don't do that. To be honest, mostly are for no reason. I would go 95% of the rules we have, there is no benefit, no benefit. We can discuss the numbers, but I'm pretty sure it would be 95% no purpose and harmful, right? And then we are because it's harm someone, when you harm someone, right at the same time, you get harmed. The way this word works is when you're harming someone, you get harmed. When you're helping someone, you get helped. That's called karma, actually. All right, we are not going through the karma detail, but I'm saying that, for example, don't do this one here. He should be here. I'm just harming him with my speech, right? But isn't at the same time I'm making harm, I'm making him unhappy. At the same time, I'm getting unhappy of talking about that, right? when you get angry over the eggs, then the eggs is not happy eggs anymore. Not you, not your mom, not the eggs. The things we get angry, it's very funny. But always remember, the anger is punishment of your own. You're punishing your own self, yourself, right? At the same time, you're talking to someone else, you're harming someone else, you are harming yourself too. Because the anger is the worst thing can happen to someone, isn't it? Anger is the worst thing can happen. Someone gets angry, and when someone gets angry, he probably do some harmful stuff. But it doesn't matter that part. The part is he's punishing himself right at that moment. He's not happy, and that's one of the rules in this world. That if you make someone unhappy, you should be unhappy too. But the world is not really fair sometimes. Sometimes you think harmful thought about someone else, and you don't tell them, right? In that case, that person doesn't get harmed, you get harmed, right? Probably less, but you get harmed, because now you're angry. Is that fair? Is it? If someone has anger inside and he's not happy, right, then he deserves to be unhappy. He deserves to be angry. However, it's better to harm someone else. Now, let's go back to the rules again. To remove the anger from us, from inside, we have to look certain things in life. One of them is the rules we have. Like, while ago, all the rules we have, where it's coming from? Ego, yes. Habit, right? And mostly the mother told us something, we learned like that. Like, I was telling someone, why are you making the egg like that? I don't know how you make one in one pan. Saying, egg always should be like the white stuff should be like solid, cooked, and the yolk should be not cooked. And then one day I thought to myself, where these rules come from? Oh, my mom was doing it, right? And then my mind said, this is delicious. And then one day my wife, like when it was opposite, why? This is like big crime to that egg, or to me, I don't know. Then I realized, okay, I have a rule. I don't know even where these rules came from. Probably mother. Then one day I said, and meditate. Why the egg should be like that, right? It was funny. I just tried to go back in my memory, one of my deep meditation. I sat there for 2-3 hours to find out why egg should be like that. And I was thinking, there should be a result. Someone told me or something. Anyway, I came back to my memory, right? Because I remembered that my mother was not even making like that too. Then when I started, I thought first it was my mother, but it wasn't. Then I go back to my memory step by step. Then I realized, no, I had a few fights with my mother. Why my mother doesn't do that? Anyway, I came back to first time. We were going to a trip to the north of Iran, and then someone said, here is the best breakfast area place. And then he explained the very, very like famous breakfast or restaurant, like they make egg like that. They are very professional. My mom said, oh, okay. I am professional too. Then my eggs should be like that. All right? And then it started, that was one of the hard rule for me to just cook the egg however you want. Any way you like. There is no rule for one simple egg, and 2 minutes later there is no egg at all. I'll just eat them all. Right? I want you to find every rule you have in your house, and then I'll tell you in advance what would happen any rule we have. To live happy, it's very hard. Because we have a mind with full problems, everyone, all of us. And then we are living not with prophet or saints, we are living like people like us. That would be the bigger problem. And now I have to start somewhere to eliminate one by one at least a simple problem in my life. Right? Probably, now going back to the example I was going to say, probably, so I left, but you might have the same problem, or usually women have the same problem. I see my wife, it was just a few years back, putting some clothes here and some clothes there, and then to put it into the washing machine. I said, why you're not putting all of them together? She said, no, there is a rule. I said, where the rules come from? He said, no, there is a reason. There is a wisdom. I said, okay, what's the wisdom? He said, they are underwears, they are different types. That's not the rules, that's not the wisdom. We can go all together, they were all in me. It's not different. Then she said, no, they get colored. They, some dresses changes the color. I said, no, that was 20 years ago. That was even like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. These days, I don't think in Australia you find even like cheap dresses like that. But even if there is one dress like that, then throw it out, right? Don't keep it. But let's try. If that happens, we don't do it again. However, I have a shirt that happened. It was white, then it was green after the washing machine. Then I said, oh, thank you, washing machine. I really got bored from the white t-shirt. Now it's greenish. Then that's good, that's easy. Why shouldn't get colored even? Now it's a few years we're doing it, nothing happened. Right? But my wife was doing 2 times. It's against the dishwasher optimization rule, having 2 times washing machine. Then she said, yeah, let's try. Now we just do everything together. There is lots of rules. All the rules is coming by mother or father, or by society. Then when we have the rule, we're just following the rule. We're not thinking them consciously. Is it good to do it? Right? Do you remember when, I don't know, it was in our country, I don't know how was your country, but in our country they were saying that don't take the nail off at night. You remember that, right? Yeah, don't cut the nail at night. It should be at day. Then one day I said, oh, okay. And then my nail was getting big, and I didn't have time because the whole day I was at work. And then I said, okay, let's wait, let's ask Google at least. But how do you think Google about my mother said that? I didn't find reason. Maybe there is a wisdom, I don't know. But there is lots of these rules in life which makes life harder. Now, all of them, there is a few properties connected to all of them. First behavior is when I put a rule, I limit myself. Isn't it true? every rule make myself limited. One of the funny rules I want to tell you. We have two bins here, big bins. And it's a school, lots of people going and coming back. Then I realized that people put like not wrong stuff in the recycled bin and in the general waste. And I said, okay, hope people, they don't know the color probably. Maybe someone is colorblinded or I don't know something. Let's put the label, right? I put the label there. And then at the end of the week, it was the same problem. And then I said, okay, that's not really fair. What should I do? I should put them all in general waste. But there's lots of like bottles stuff or glassy stuff. Then I started to separate them and put them into the right bin. But I was a bit mumbling in my mind that, it was just kind of a small complaint why people doing it. And then happened next week, then happened next week, then happened next week, then I went print a bigger one with some shape, not just the text, right? And then I made it English and Farsi, both language, and I put it there. And then I said, okay. And then one of them has really the picture. It was two, one Farsi and English, one it was the picture. I said, if someone doesn't see the text, they see at least the picture. Yeah, it's cover everybody, yeah, even kids. And then the next day I went there and it was like lots of fruit and mandarin into the recycled one. Then I separated them again. Then, like after a year, it was very, very small. Then I realized I'm unhappy. It's even some part of my mind is saying, "Aren't you want to close the school?" I said, "Why?" I said, "People, they don't put the beans. I mean, using the right beans." And it was funny. I heard that one piece of my mind was thinking of closing the windows to solve the problem, right? And I said, "Wow, is it our mind working like that, even to fix one problem?" But I said, "Yeah, they are right. I mean, that piece of my mind, which wants to fix or solve this problem, and he did whatever he couldn't do it. Now the solution is close the school." Then I realized, wow, that's now a big problem in my mind. How should I keep my school open? And then, how can I tell someone I closed the school? That was the reason, the 2 beans. It was funny. And then I said, okay, now it's a problem in my mind. I have to fix it. Then I went to meditating and said, okay, I don't have enough wisdom to confront this problem. I forget to tell you that once I took a movie and put it into the Telegram group, and I said, guys, see, these ones are all fruit. This is all in recycle bin. And this one is there. Please, please, please put them into the right one. And anyway, I've done that one too. Then that was the last. Then I said, no, probably next time I should sit there with the shotgun, right? Sit just waiting there and see who is putting there. Oh, put a camera. Camera there and put a few people like this control room.
I think you should just move to Japan. They're very good with rules over there.
Yeah. And then I said I meditate. And I said, wow, that's one simple rule I've put in my mind. It just makes me now my part of my mind at least. It was maybe it was too small, but it is a problem, right? I have to fix that. I don't want to be unhappy about something. How should I do it? Then my mind was telling me, force them to make them to commit the rules, like follow the rules. And I said, no, wait. I have something in me need to change to fix the problem. Then I start with the consciousness from my heart talking to my mind. I said, even you fix this problem. These old people in their home, they have 2 beans. I'm pretty sure no one follow that rules. I should put camera in everything. And then I said, why this rules even is important, right? I meditate and I find out. It was like 2008 or 9. I was learning English and I was watching a movie, and there was, I think it was Queensland. It was a TV show, and it was showing that it was a big recycle place. They said all that recycled, they couldn't recycle because of the pizza boxes was oily at the time. They shouldn't put it into the recycle bin, and then they put all on the ground like general waste. They have to do it. There was lots of plastic, and the guy was telling that probably next year the world could be ended because of this disaster here. It was too much the recycled waste. It was going under the ground as the general waste because people, they didn't put the right place. And then the guy was saying that we are paying $50 per hour to people to just separate them. And however, I had to get $50 per hour for separating them here too. I didn't. But then that TV show made my mind so sharp. So like, it's a big disaster in Queensland. I have to do it myself, which was good, right? I learned something and I have to do it. But the bad part was I was forcing everyone else to do it, right? That was not good. Every rule is good if it's in my hand, or I'm responsible, or it's for me, right? When I make rules for other people, then I would be subjected to other people. My happiness is subjected to other people, right? Now, you can easily make Arya mad with changing a 1A position, right? Then I said, wow, I'm just sacrificing my happiness and give it to everyone in this world. Even I was giving part of my happiness to the president. I was saying, president should not talk like that, should talk like that. And then he was not talking like that, he was talking like that. Then I was getting angry. Then I realized all my happiness, every little part has going somewhere and depending on someone else, right? Then someone asked me why I'm not happy or not happy. I'm saying, okay, why? Because the whole world is not listening to me. Then I said, oh, what should I do then? I said, okay, I'll put the rules only for myself, right? If someone else does the same thing, they have their own rules. They have to follow themselves. Then I started to remove rules, which the rules was unnecessary rules, right? So I can put rules for herself to pick up Jawad's pants every time. That rule, it's one day, every day, Jawad going and coming back, right? 1 dress per day takes 20 seconds. Pick them up, put them into the washing machine, right? Talking to Jawad, telling Jawad how long it takes, which even it doesn't work. And you sacrifice your happiness and make Jawad angry too, right? That's the life of everyone. Then I said, okay, it's been 5-10 minutes every week. I'm going at the time when I'm going put them outside. I just check whatever I can. I don't need to check the detail, but generally just mix if I need to or fix sometimes. And then I put them there. It's very simple. Then now I'm happy that the school is still open. Just took me 5-10 minutes every week. And it was fixed the problem. Then I came back to the happiness and in harmony with everyone. Because if I was continuing that, part of my mind was in resistance with the others, right? And then going soon, it would be more go through resentment. I don't like that, why it's like that, why he's like that. Now I want you to find out this week, that's a very good task to do, find out the rules. And I want you to, very, very simple one, unnecessary rules, which makes you unhappy, makes everyone unhappy, makes you present on that one. It's affected your happiness, right? If there is a rules with this much problem, this much issue in me, why should I keep it? Right? Then I want you to start changing every day or 2 days. Write down the rules and tell me which rules you want to break the rules. Find out the rules which makes me unhappy. There is no good in it. And decide some of these rules to be eliminated. Because I cannot eliminate all of them. Sometimes, like, it's very important. I'm saying, no, I'm not ready to, to leave that. Yeah. And, but sometimes I'm saying, okay, I can eliminate this rule. I don't have this rule anymore. That's not really important rule. It's even has problem, has issue, and create resentment, create problem, create anger. I want to eliminate the rules. Then the first task is find out the rules you're having, and then at the end, if you want to eliminate the rule, write down, okay, I want to remove this rule. I don't have this rule anymore. And then if anything happened in life, then you can tell the story.
So my mind is just getting sneaky as you gave this, and I was just thinking, I have this bug about the cushions on the couch when Chris sits and they wrinkle. It really bothers my mind. And I was already thinking, oh my God, so I promise not to get angry, and I just happily just clean it. So, you know, it's like I'm sort of, my brain is just making negotiation that I'll keep the rule, but then I'll work on myself just to do it happily next time. And so I don't know, should I try to let the mind be a sneaky and
What would happen if Chris does that?
I don't know, I think I have some sort of a OCD problem possibly, like I want things to be in particular angle. And No, not feng shui. It's more of a
OCD, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more. Of
Okay, now you have OCD, and now Chris should be aligned with your OCD, right? Now you're telling me you want to keep OCD and Chris the same one, happy Chris OCD, or you want to leave your OCD and go against your OCD. Which one is better? Happily Chris, keep Chris. Yeah, actually, kiss Chris to do it like that. And by the way, 1 time, 1, 2, 3 times, eventually you get angry. You cannot keep the rule and be happy. Can you? Can you do 10 times and then again and again and then you always happily? That's good to do, happily do that, right? But especially if you know this is the problem of OCD you have, I would say you should go against it to fix the OCD, right? Because this is the problem. From this practice, we are going to the origin of the problems, which we didn't talk today. But see, origin of the problem is something in you which created even you OCD, right? You should go exactly against it to eliminate the OCD even. And then later on, you have to find out what has created the OCD. Then go and remove that one too. Then you're free, right? Then you're not imprisoned by your own rules. We have lots of rules in the society. We have to follow the rules in the society, to respect others. That's no choice. Usually people, they don't follow that rules, and then they they want everyone to follow our rules. But see, go change yourself to be happy, to live with Chris happily, and also makes Chris happy too. I promise that Chris would be more happy if he feels that it's freedom. The hardest part in the whole this universe is liberation, right? Then I'm saying that we have a rules, it makes us unhappy, and there is no benefit in it. Leave it, even you're saying that, no, still I would like to keep it. That's the smallest step toward liberation. Go against yourself, change yourself, make yourself happy. Right? I wouldn't say it's easy. It's not easy, but that's the reason I'm saying that whatever you think it's good, or even you're free to leave, you feel that you can remove that rule. Sure.
Now, what you said about the wrinkly cushions, what I did was with some of my rules, one of the things that I didn't like, having the cushion being wrinkled, as you just said, yeah? It's a woman thing, I think. And then I would go each time and I kind of pat it and then put it in. I used to get really annoyed because I'd just see my kids and my husband or whoever came in, they would just lie on it and use it. And I'm like, can you respect the cushion? And you know, pay attention to it, you know? It's providing it's providing that beautiful energy for you. It's comforting you in so many ways. So why don't you just pat it and put it? And then I came back into my mind and I did a kind of a meditation that it was really funny. And I actually saw the beauty of the wrinkle. So each time I pass now, I actually see a beauty within that wrinkle cushion. It doesn't bother me anymore, but it doesn't kind of irritate me. I kind of go and just fix it if I want to. And then if I don't want to, I just leave it because I can see the beauty in the wrinkle. I'm okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? But before it was a hell. It was like a literal hell within myself that why the hell it is that wrinkle. It is not supposed to be. When I put that rule that it's not supposed to be, then it would drag me down quite deep.
Now, another question for you, for Yossi, all right? You want her to keep the room clean. However, when you come to our class, you should not bring her because she learned the stuff, freedom stuff, and then she would answer to you soon. Mm-hmm. Now, when you were a kid, like you were cleaning the room?
I didn't have a room. I didn't have a room. Yeah.
I cannot comment on that.
Yeah.
But you were a clean person?
I see myself as a tidy, clutter-free person.
Okay, Yossi, can you ask your grandma the same question and bring it next week? Was Zohal was a tidy, clean person or not? Every mother, for their kids, they're saying, nope, it's not enough. You should be better. You should be clean. Every child would think that they are clean, tidy, enough. That's the rule. Then the same kid, and Yossi like 20 years later, they would say the same stuff she's hearing now from her mom to her kid. You should be clean. one day I went to my son's room, and it was exploded. You know, you should send us a picture from your room.
My room's only been clean ever since my mum stopped bothering me about cleaning my room.
I think your mom learned it here when she came to our classes, and they told her to just leave Arya alone.
That's probably it. And now I'm cleaner than her. I'm telling her to clean her.
Yeah, the same thing happened with me and my son. I went there, and I said, "Oh, what happened to your room? ISIS exploded your room." Yeah, terrorist attack. And then he laughed and I laughed, and I just left his room and then never came back there to see. But if you ask him, I'm pretty sure he would say that my room is always clean. I know exactly where it is, what it is, where I put them. Okay, that's a very small task, good one. Let's see how many rules we can talk or we can remove this week. And then next week, we talk about more where these rules coming and how many rules we have. I would say that it was really, it's not about 1,000 rules we have, and each one of us makes a bit of agitated or irritated or angry. Next week, we're talking about the kind of roots of these elements, right? And then probably next one, we go back to the 4 elements and a bit more philosophical lessons. Okay, see you everyone next week.